Now see here, this is a coordinate system. This coordinate system is giving us four quadrants. This is the first quadrant, this is second quadrant, this is third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. Now we have taken here a point P whose coordinates are A and B, and this is inclined at an angle of x. Also we know that A is equal to cos of x and B is equal to sin of x here. Also in the first quadrant both the coordinates are positive. Therefore in first quadrant both sin of x and cos of x are positive. Now let us come to the second quadrant and let there be a point Q. Now here the A will be negative and B will be positive here. Here the A will be negative and B will be positive, which means in second quadrant the sin of x will be positive but cos of x will be negative. Now come to the third quadrant and let there be any point R. So for this point there A will be negative and B will also be negative. So in third quadrant sin of x will be negative and cos of x also negative. Now let's find out the sign of the other trigonometric functions in each quadrant. In first quadrant, we know that the sin x and cos x both are positive. Therefore cosec of x, which is reciprocal of sin of x, will be positive. Sec of x, which is equal to reciprocal of cos of x. Now since cos of x is positive in first quadrant, therefore sec of x will also be positive. Now see tan of x. Tan of x is equal to sin of x by cos of x. Since both of these are positive, therefore the tan of x will also be positive. See cot of x. Cot of x equal to cos of x upon sin of x. Since both cos of x and sin of x are positive, therefore cot of x is also positive. Therefore in first quadrant all trigonometric functions are positive. Now see in the second quadrant, here sin of x is positive, therefore cosec x will be positive. Sec of x, which is reciprocal of cos of x. Since cos of x in second quadrant is negative, therefore sec of x is also negative. See tan of x. tan of x is equal to sin of x by cos of x. Now here cos of x is positive, sin of x is positive, but cos of x is negative. Therefore tan of x becomes negative. Similarly cot of x will also be negative. So in second quadrant only sine is positive and rest are negative. Sorry. In second quadrant, sine and cosec functions are positive, rest are negative. In third quadrant, sine of x is negative and cos of x is also negative. Therefore cosec of x is negative and sec of x is also negative. Therefore here you see the tan of x is equal to sine of x upon cos of x. Now since sine of x and cos of x are both negative, so this will be cut and the tan of x becomes positive. Also the reciprocal of this, the cot of x, is also positive. Therefore in third quadrant tan and cot functions are positive, rest are negative. Now in fourth quadrant we know that sine of x is negative and cos of x is positive. Therefore cosec x, which is reciprocal of sine of x, will also be negative. Sec of x, which is a reciprocal of cos x, will be positive. Tan of x is equal to sine of x by cos of x. Since sine of x is negative, therefore tan of x will be negative. Therefore cot of x will also be negative. So in fourth quadrant, cos of x and sec of x are positive and the rest are negative. See, in first quadrant, the angle here lies between 0 degree and pi by 2 radian, which means in first quadrant x is greater than 0 and less than pi by 2. In second quadrant Here you see the x will lie between pi by 2 and pi. For second quadrant, x is greater than pi by 2 and less than pi. In third quadrant, the angle will be greater than pi by 2, greater than pi, but less than 3 pi by 2. Therefore, in third quadrant, x is greater than pi, less than 3 pi by 2. Similarly, in fourth quadrant, x is more than 3 pi by 2 and less than 2 pi. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you really liked it. Please